their son. I'm a little intimidated to be asked to speak and summarize, if at all possible, my dad's life and what he means to us and we've all meant to him. I think the oddest thing about these few days, as the family is gathered and the stories have been told, is that Dad's not physically among us. He would love seeing everybody. He would laugh at all the stories. And he would feel that a gathering like this, centered around and even shaped by this celebration of faith and hope, would be exactly the kind of thing that was right up his alley. I thought it was terrifically appropriate that the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, were today's gospel. Those Beatitudes, to me, define the character of the people of God, describe the ethical principle of a religious man or woman, and themes of social justice for all, even the least, abound. I've been struck over the last couple days as we gathered and talked about my dad, how his grandchildren have absorbed the very qualities highlighted in the Sermon on the Mount. So these Beatitudes truly are both the roadmap of my dad's life and his legacy. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Dad had no arrogance. He was humble. He never called attention to his work or his deeds. He could have. He was accomplished. He was generous. He excelled in most everything he undertook. But he never asked for recognition. Never thought that all he did was for anything other than the greater good and the fulfillment of God's direction and will. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Upon first reading, it's natural, especially at a funeral, to see mourn. That's what we've all been doing all week, and especially today, mourning the loss of a beloved man. It's clear that we are all comforted, as this Beatitude promises, in our mourning dad together. Mourn means war, though, here. Mourning for the sinfulness which causes suffering and sadness. Dad mourned. He chafed at injustice, greed, pride, lack of compassion, lack of reason, all the things at the root of the world's strife. God's comfort is well earned. He seemed to admire gentleness and was drawn to gentle people and always felt most at home in the gentle love of his family. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Righteousness to my dad meant those things which pleased God. He didn't talk about it in these terms, but his passion for justice, especially social justice, was his hunger and thirst for righteousness. His Jesuit volunteer corps service at Mom is one very prominent example of this, especially the way he focused his work during that time on supporting and advocating for the homeless. Blessed are the long-suffering, for they shall have great seats when the Cubs win their next World Series. Not that big. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Dad always presumed the good spirit and the good intention of others. He was non-judgmental. He had patience that others might not have, showed love when it was hardest to do. In this way, he healed many rifts and many, many spirits. Who here has not experienced this from Dad? He was the family mediator, gentle but true mentor to all, and one who lifted all our spirits. He didn't see mercy as something to be dispensed, but as a way to live. Blessed are the pure in heart, they shall see God. You really could not say too much about Dad's pure heart. Dad's choices and his will made evident through these choices could only reveal a pure heart. chose philanthropic work to support education. He chose volunteer work with and for charities and social service agencies. He chose volunteer service even after he retired. And he chose to make faith the center of his life. Blessed are the industrious, for they shall rise early enough to have breakfast and play cards with their grandchildren. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. It's easy to think of the need for peace and peacemakers as political in nature. And Lord and God knows we can use all the temporal peacemakers that we can find. Dad, though, worked for peace in this way, in the way he lived his life. He always wished us Christ's peace at Mass, believing with all his heart that living the way Jesus instructed us is the surest way to peace. Blessed are they who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Righteousness, again, things which please God. I'm not sure I really recall Dad ever talking about actually being persecuted, but he was always willing to stand up for the underdog, to make decisions based on principle, and never worry about the consequences. At the wake yesterday, my brother related the story about Dad's stint as a member of the board of one of the private clubs when he advocated for an African American, the first to be accepted for membership in this club. The membership was turned down. Dad left the board shortly thereafter. Never allowed us to tell that story or call attention to that. He did what was right, didn't care about the consequences, and lived his life in that way. You know, there's another story I want to relate, not specific to any one of the Beatitudes, but really emblematic of faith as Dad understood it, manufacturing circumstances and outcomes which might seem to the naked eye too unbelievable to be anything beyond crazy luck or serendipity, but through which Dad had seen the hand of God. During their Jesuit volunteer corps stint, Mom and Dad met and took a liking to another volunteer, a young woman who was assigned to a placement in their region, so they saw periodically in meetings and retreats and things. They stayed in touch after their service and visited each other. Mom and Dad even attended her wedding. Somewhere along the way, it came out that this young woman was adopted. Meanwhile, Mom and Dad were catching up on news with an old, dear family friend who mentioned that her daughter had made a difficult choice several years ago to give up her baby for adoption. You can probably see the end of this story coming. This young woman was indeed, unbelievably, the daughter our family friend had given up for adoption. Mom and Dad put them in touch and were there when mother and daughter met for the first time. Dad would say, "What are the odds of that?" We would say, "Who else would Dad choose to mend this seed?" In the days following Dad's death, this young woman reached out to me. We've never met or even really communicated before, to say how much she adored not only Dad for